Perfect timing. Okay, well, don't play the lottery because you used up all your luck on this. Perfect timing. Your primer will be dry soon on a nightmare 3D printed car I paid for and had a terrible time with. Oh, was it just a bad design, or your printer was being a little bitch? I suspect there's probably some designs that are better than others. You know, there's probably some designs that have a lot of noise on them. I would imagine trouble with interpretation or something. All right, so here we got the iron roux so far. Starting to take shape. Bad design, that's what I figured. And on this side, I have a little Australian flag that's in the wrong color of blue, and they just have to deal with it. These are all one. Well, the little Australian flag is a 1/72nd scale decal, but so we're at a nice starting point here. You've been calibrating a 3D printer, can do some really neat and complicated prints that kangaroo. Yeah, I mean it's meant to be used. When I saw that, I'm like, let's use it. It looks the right size for this. You know, it was for the on the side of the Italian tanks. I had a Italian M1340, and it came with that decal set. All right, we're gonna prime the ram, the tarp on the back, and while that's drying, then we'll come in and do the black lining. Okay. So let's get our little. Let's get a new top. I'm creating these more than I'm using them. Does it have a kangaroo name? Well, it's just called the Iron Roux. That was actually a Chat GPT name. I was going to originally call it, what was I going to call it? Bugger Blaster. Bugger Blaster. And then I saw it's an Australian vehicle. With this turret, it's an Australian Vietnam vehicle. And it would have looked fine with this turret also. But an actual Commonwealth turret. And I don't have that hatch glued all the way down, so I could replace it with a commander's one if I want to. I just don't want to cogitate about that and not get anything done. Okay, black primer. Yeah, we can blame that on Chet. Chet. I'd already named it. I'm like, oh, if I didn't have any ideas, well, what would you suggest I named it? And it gave me a lot of really good ideas, actually. So there might be other Australian vehicles, just saying. I had airbrushed this camouflage. And since I was being kind of impatient, and that when I gave this the wash of the brown over it, it wiped some of it off. Not in a huge area. And then I'm like, if I'm going to repaint it, I'm just going to... It needed to be hard edge anyways. I just figured it was another opportunity to get better with the airbrush. So I basically painted it the same spot that it was airbrushed. I just did it with a brush. All right, we got to be careful we don't touch something we're not supposed to. We're going to bring that primer onto something else. Isn't the Games Workshop what's the basic vehicle the Space Marines ride around in? Is it a Rhino? Isn't that based on M113? Or it has inspired by the M113. I don't know that the M113 should inspire anything. Didn't really protect the crews from rifle fire. But really, the U.S. half-tracks in World War II weren't that well armored either. The German half-tracks had a lot more armor in them. Like double. Okay, and we're going to paint the track of that brownish color. I think it is. $40K Rhino. I believe that's what it is. Sure looks like it. Talk about no camouflage. One of these costs $51. No. It's for a game that flip a coin. What's the coin flip for? If it gets hit or not? No. Too basic a game for that kind of a price. You know, your equipment costs way too much for something that simple. It's like an expensive Simpletonian. I actually think I need to. I picked all this up. You can't tell, but it's picked up. I needed to be able to find stuff. It was taking a lot of effort to find things that should not have. Let me get underneath here with this. Okay. And we'll lift this up. Yeah, that stuff is mad expensive. I'm looking at trying some of this ABS-like resin for your 3D printer. That's the name of the resin, ABS-like. Well, I don't know the kind of resin that this one 3D printer that I've gotten stuff from. And I think actually Miniature Tanks Company has switched to it as well because it's really similar. But it's almost rubbery. And it's not fragile. Like, it gives a little bit. You know, instead of like snap. You know, the difference between a plastic model kit and like something made out of resin. Resin stuff's just like, you know, done. You're done. And apparently the kangaroo symbol is kind of like a standard shape of the kangaroo. Because if you can see like, you know, you look I looked for, you know, when I was looking up which way it was facing, there's like modern signs that say like kangaroo crossing stuff, and it's that same silhouette. Well, this will be the first tank that I have. Tank style vehicle. ABS. Yeah, I don't know. How many different kind of resins are there? Probably a lot. It actually smells good. Like it has a smell, and it's a pleasant smell. It tastes. I don't know what it tastes like. It smells like almost like house paint, like latex house paint, which has a good smell. You know, it's almost like clean. You know, if you go in a new house and you know it's just been painted, it has a nice smell to it. This one's 50. So the reasoning against it is this should be a light tank by the size. And if I go 50, that allows me to do heavier tanks that aren't 50. The problem with buying armor to it is the cheaper the vehicle is, the better a deal the armor is. You know, because 2 extra armor doesn't really matter if you can take freaking 20, 30 points of damage, or however much this thing can take. I don't know. I don't remember. I didn't write that down. But I think that'll allow me to do bigger vehicles, you know? Yeah, I don't know shit about them other than I've handled them and I'm like, okay, this is completely different. You know, like there's a lot of plastics. This Plastic Soldier Company plastic's amazing. It's almost rubbery in a way. Creamy. Without being bendy. Okay, while that dries, let's go in and blackline this. So we'll need this. We don't need this front and center. Let's get dark tone, soft tone, light tone, dark tone. Can you do FDM printing if you wanted to? Like, can you do crappier printing, or you're like... Yeah, I really don't know anything about it, and just... We'll leave experts like you for it. I know you're going to tell me you're not an expert. Well, it's just like the airbrush. You're going to become one. You're going to be able to... The struggles will be less and less often. You'll be able to predict stuff going wrong before it goes wrong, kind of stuff. I'm sure. Let's start with the turret because it's away from any fresh paint. This is not... This is not bending right. Let's give this thing a flush. I somehow need to repaint this barrel because some of the primer didn't stick to it real well. So there's some brass showing, but I'm not going to let that bother me. When I mess with FDM, you have to control humidity. Just the thought of FDM printing makes me want to kill Dozer. Killdozer, a new verb. How do they do it in Britain, where there's no air conditioning? The land of no AC. Well, if you already have if you already have a printer that does resin, what would you want to? I suspect that there's some STLs that'll work on resin, but not FDM, and not the other way around. Because I have a feeling that the ones that are for resin have to have a lot more detail, a lot more nodes, pixels, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure there's a term for it, but since I'm not in on it, I bet the FDM can get away with having less resolution files. I'm just guessing, you know. Can put much larger stuff on the FDM. Resin is for small detail stuff, but the new resin printers are getting really big. Yeah, they're like a smoothie blender, aren't they? Like most of them are like, maybe this big around and that would be annoying if you had a small printer. You probably have to like, oh, this prints out to be 20 inches by 20 inches. I got to break it into 3 parts. I would imagine that's how it is. Mine's larger average resin printer, but not as large as the larger models. Well, I bet the price on those things has really dropped. And the more people that have them, the more it will drop. You would think. That's how it should work. Whether or not it works that way is something totally different. Hopefully, it's not something that they're constantly developing new things. And if you buy something state of the art today, in 6 months, it's like, well, that's yesteryear's technology. What's wrong with you, boy? Why do you still have that? Because I don't buy things as soon as they come out. Oh, there's something that supersedes everything I've spent my hard-earned money on. I don't think I'm going to buy it. Okay, here's the barrel portion. Turret portion. Let's be careful, that might still be wet. Let's go ahead and glue this back on, or attach this back on. Exactly that. If you buy state of the art right now, a year later or less, it's outdated. That's annoying as shit, It's like TVs. bet Australians, Greg's going to get a kick out of this. He likes Australian stuff. I don't want to use these kangaroo symbols on like Italian tanks. I'm not building captured vehicles. Especially if you have only a few of them. Well, this green airbrush this morning, excellent. And it was Vallejo. Vallejo doesn't airbrush worth the crap. You must not be holding your mouth right. I don't know. You could also have an old Vallejo. But I gotta thin them anyways. And at least they have good... I feel like Vallejo has really good color density. Or pigment density. Can you do those printers have a function? Well, maybe it's not function of the printer, but that you can scan an item. Like, let's say you wanted, and I'm not saying to sell them on the freaking black market. Like, okay, that's stupid. You know, I wouldn't do shit like that. But like, let's say I had this. Well, let's take this beetle. Where's the beetle at? Okay, well I mentioned it because I thought it was right here. Anyways, if I want to, have more of these undercarriages, can I scan this somehow and then make more of them? Or do you have to have a file that you can tamper with? I know there's probably people out there that can 3D print, but then they don't have the patience to like build a plastic model. I'm sure there's people out there. No, you can't scan. So you're stuck if like you need an STL for something. Unless you have a way of making STLs. There's enough stuff out there, you probably don't need to do that. Well, in a little bit, we'll use your dry brushing brushes and you can tell me how they work. I've only used it one time and it was great. Can make STLs. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get into 3D printing. There's enough stuff out there that I'm interested in that's already made. I need to focus on the stuff that I already do. Yeah, I got that styrofoam. I got that foam cutter I got last week and I haven't messed with it. Been busy doing this. This gonna look pretty decent. This is gonna look pretty decent. And then we'll work on the great galoot. That sounds like a magician. That's really clumsy. A really clumsy magician. That's the great galoot. The salute to the galoot. Any tools up here? This is something, but I don't know if this qualifies as a tool. Looking right at it and I don't know what it is. Never a good sign. I just don't know what the heck this paint was made out of, or it didn't come off with the citrus strip. And then when we're done with this stage, what we're going to do is, well, we need to paint the back of the front. We're going to give everything a light dusting of a desert-like color. The primer we used won't strip either. Really? Did you end up buying a citrus strip? Were you happy with it? I think it worked pretty well. Looks like it's supposed to be some kind of a handle, but I don't really look at it like it at this stage. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to have to make a coffee. I'll be right back. One of these days, I'm gonna take a dive and actually work on the what do you call that stuff? A war rig. And I saw one really cool yesterday. I'm gonna see if I can find it for you. Squishing the beans right now. Let's see if I can find it. Hot Wheels. It was green too. Hot Wheels, rigs, green. I think that's what they call them. They call them rigs. I think I just found it. Yeah, it wasn't like it was dirt cheap or anything. You wanted $10 for it, and they're only, I've seen it like $7.50, $8 or something like that. This is at $1. What was it called? Family Dollar. Used nail polish. Yeah, that stuff is acetone, baby. Yeah, you put it on your hands like, man, why do my hands feel cold? Because you're getting eaten. Let me see if I can find this. Was it this one? It was not this one. Oh, fucking Jack. That makes some crazy shit, man. Like a freaking plane or something. That's like good for like a scenario, you know? Ah, crap. There we go. This thing. This thing. This actual, the tractor itself looked really cool. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. So this is the whole thing. It almost looks like it has a flat bed, but it had some depth to it for that little car to sit in there. But now look at the tractor. It had dual tires on it. It had an engine that was visible, and it was big. I mean, it was like hardy. Like this thing is hardy. It's hardy like that. And it was a vehicle in and of itself. Yeah, here's a good picture of it. That one's pretty cool. Because some of them are just kind of small. Like the actual tractor itself is kind of small. And then they had one that actually came with 2 flatbeds on it. Let's see if I can find it. Super rigs is what they're called. Okay, Hot Wheels Super Rigs 2 trailers. Yeah, this was it. This one. I think it was this one. It wasn't no $25. It was $10. And the second trailer can attach to the back of the first trailer. So like you could definitely make a something for a scenario. Was it you showed me that Wall-E vehicle? No. What like from the cartoon Wall-E? Mm-mm. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff. And then wanted $10 for it. I didn't need it. I got rigs that I got the one with the little the poo poo platter with the toilets. And I've seen this one. It has like the mechs, has like these poor man's anime or something like that. That's what it looks like. Yeah, from the animated cartoon, it's interesting. I will send it to you. No, no, I looked at I saw the one from Last Airbender. What was that little flying bison thing that they had? Appa or something like that. It was an Appa themed, uh, like 1940s truck. I guess that ain't that thing. I used to watch a cartoon with my daughter. Oh, here's one for the everybody gets one. Here's one for the here's one for the freaking clowns. But almost all of them, if you know anything about trailers, it's very hard to find a trailer that only has a single axle. But almost every trailer of these Hot Wheels has a single axle only. And that's just so they can make turns on the racetrack. Remember, these are made to like roll down those same orange tracks anyways. And if it's got too much resistance back here, or it's gonna get jackknifed and it can't make turns, you know. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is interesting. What's the thing on the back? Something green? Looks like a recycle truck or something. Might be a little tricky, the fact that there's a track tire there. And what I mean by that is, I did not pick this vehicle up. They had a camper. See, Hot Wheels. It has the same kind of issues. Hot Wheels car with camper. Let's see if I can find it. And it looks like a vehicle is being consumed by the vehicle in the back. I didn't do a good job of explaining that. Here it is. Yeah. So it looks like the vehicle in the front is being consumed by the one in the back. However, they're actually removable, I guess. Oh, this is custom, so maybe it isn't. I saw this in the same thing. I know one person that doesn't need any more Mini Coopers. They had one at the bargain bin. I didn't even get it. Now, something like this, if you want a camper, something like this is interesting. There's so many cool things out there. You just when you think you've seen it all, you find something else you've never seen before. And I don't necessarily mean in the store, because the store is only going to have modern stock. But you go to some place that has yesteryear's models, even just like 2 years back, you're going to see things you've never seen before. Oh, you delivered pizza to someone that lived in one of those. I could smell those people about 60 to 70 feet before I saw them. Oh. Did you ever have a situation delivering pizzas that they wanted you to deliver to a house that or in an area that you weren't real keen on delivering, but you had to anyways? That'd be the worst part about delivering pizzas. You know, it's like, I mean, there's a certain part of town that you don't want to go in. You know, stuff goes down in there. All right, we're going to use the rusty bits on this one. This is one called Rough Iron. 18 years ago. That was just the other day, wasn't it? 18 years ago. It's 2006. Yeah. That was just the other day. I would have never been able to do that as a job. And the reason I can't do that as a job is because when I was in the point of my life when there's nothing wrong with that kind of a job. I'd rather do that than work at McDonald's. But you'd have to have a car, and like I didn't have the money to have a car. You know, how are you going to be able to? It's like, you know, if you want to start out, your first job can't be an Uber driver if you don't have a vehicle. You know what I mean? Like, well, we need to buy a vehicle. Well, you haven't made your first paycheck. How the hell are you going to get a vehicle? You know? Okay, that's a nice tone. And I'm gonna go and let's get some black out here. You delivered pizzas for Papa John's like 2008. They were more expensive than Pizza Hut and Domino's, so I didn't deliver to the poor areas that often. Well, I'm not talking about the poor areas. I'm talking about the places that, you know, stuff goes down. Although there is a lot of overlap. You know, the places where it's like, man, if the light stops, I ain't stopping. If the light changes, you know, if you find yourself somewhere you shouldn't be, and the light changes, I'm like, I'm not gonna stop. You know they don't tip well in those areas. There were these one apartments though that I didn't like going to. The town was like 34,000 people, and now it's 100. So Texas has really grown, huh? You know, Florida's was steady growing, and then after the unmentionable, it just exploded. It just exploded. All right. We're gonna dry brush over that too, but we needed like a base of something. I cut the decal just so it could be on that line and put microsol on it. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Ooh, I saw a little part that's showing that should not be the resin color. This almost looks like iron knuckles or something. San Antonio by St. Philip's College. You run red lights if I had to. Really bad aim. St. Philip, the patron saint of raping you if you're standing at a traffic light. All right, this. Let's, I want to put 2 antennas on this. I want to put 2 antennas on here. Where is the X-Acto knife? I used it to cut over some boxes, and I didn't put it back here. Son of a biscuit eater. Nope. I'm commandeering this X-Acto knife.
That's the one I always keep in the kitchen room.
I don't know where mine is.
Okay.
And I needs it now. I'm sure it's here somewhere. Oh, between that and the tweezers, those things like to walk away from you. How sharp are we? You need to get some black racer number decals. Black racer number decals. Like the numbers in black? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked at a lot of like non-military decals on eBay, but I bet there's a shitload of them. This guy who did the Twinkie things, he doesn't make that many things that are, super useful. I mean, he makes some Puerto Rican ones, which, I'm considering getting. And what else? He makes some Trump ones, but I'm not going to do political stuff. Like I said this morning, you could have a field day with that. Numbers in black? Yeah, I don't... Let's do... Man, I love looking for shit. I love homework assignments like this. I really do. That's how I got to know all the 15 millimeter manufacturing stuff. 1/64 black number decals. Oh shit, these are nice. Oh shit, these are even nicer. Located in Canada, you fucker. Just import fees due prior to delivery. That's a new thing now. Yeah, look at these. That's kind of blurry. The 0.75 centimeter. So 7.5 millimeter. Why don't they just call it that? Use whole numbers, pal. 7.5 millimeter. Yeah, it might actually be a little too big. Oh, I like the style of these. Like, look at like the double numbers, like that 33, the 57. They look good. Now, oh, they make them in reverse too. Nice. And look what else they make. Oh, those are cool. I wonder what I would need to make your own decals. I tell you what, I bought a sheet of decal paper, and I haven't messed with it. I've just gotten involved in other things. There's got stripes. Nah, paint your own. License plates. Located in China, you're never gonna fucking get it. Guess I found all the good stuff first. Oh man, this is so freaking cool. Look at this green. Okay, so there's different tiers of diecast, right? You got Hot Wheels, and Matchbox. You know, we've talked about them. The Matchbox, some of the stuff's a little bit better quality. Hot Wheels have a little bit more detail sometimes. Eccentric type vehicles, and then they're all kind of the same level. And then you've got like the Johnny Lightnings are higher level. They usually have rubber tires. I think they always have rubber tires. And then you have this company called Greenlight, which is even more than Johnny Johnny Lightning. I kept calling Johnny Rockets. No, and they make this cop car for NYPD. It's a '77 Plymouth Fury. And look, they give you decals for the damn numbers. So you could buy like 4 of them and give them different numbers. That's just that is just freaking cool. But this clown wants $40 for it. Plus, that doesn't cost that, Yeah, $57 and you're located in China. I've just flushed my money down the toilet. That's pretty cool. I'm scared to do it. Well, if I was going to make my own decals, I'd make them in Excel because I'm real familiar with Excel. And Excel is like graph paper, right? So you print, you print something like, all right, I'll make this the cell size is such and such a size, right? And then I'll print something in there, and then you can go, okay, a 1/4 inch equals 12 pixels or something like that. And then you can kind of size it. That's why I use Excel for everything. You could just make a number and make it bigger or smaller, that kind of stuff. But the decal sheet is all one sheet, I'm pretty sure. You know, so you're going to, whatever it is that you're going to make, you're going to have to cut it out yourself. And I'm like, man, by the time I do all that, I'll just hand paint it. You know? I got it because I was going to make my own decals for the African nations. And then I doubled down on doing this stuff. You know, the African imagination stuff. Okay, so we're going to, let's add a little bit of the metal on here, which is the really dark tone. Yeah, you watch those videos. Oh, it's so easy to make your own decals. Yeah, I bet it isn't. I bet something's going to go sideways. Oh, why is this all wet? That ain't going to work. That ain't going to work. Here we go. All right. And then what I got the X-Acto knife for, I changed the blade, didn't do anything with it. Typical. Captain Distractimus. Let's cut this even. And let's put a little hole where put two antennas on it. Why? It looks cool. Not going to go very deep on this. This is not a very deep piece of plastic. It's probably all I can get away with. All right. Now let's get something I haven't used in a long time. Oh, I still have some. I don't have to even get the... You know, I do need glasses to be able to see what the F I'm doing. They're bristles from a... I want the fast super glue for this. And I got rid of Glulandia. I finally threw it away. All right, you're being a little bitch. Maybe don't bend it. I'm gonna cut the end to where I want it later. Right, we'll just bend it back. Well, that was easy. This gives it a little bit of verticality. I'm going to cut about half of it off. Time to do the thing you hate. Oh, clear off flash. Remove flash from plastic figures. Prime. You know, I used to complain a lot more about priming until I found this stuff. You know, because it gets in all the nooks and crannies. All right, let's get dark sand is the color I want. This is the color I want. So I'm going to take this color. I'm going to overbrush the vehicle in this lightly. We're going to use those. We're going to use those dry brushes that you claim are so good. They are. I already used one. At least that one I had. At least that one that I used was good. And we're going to use the small one. Writing. Oh. There's only one thing I've ever enjoyed writing about. And it was this class. I'm sure I've told you about it. And we'll do this later. Because this is just going to be the wearing of this paint off. And I'm going to do it right here. They did some English assignment. It was something stupid like write a paper on the definition of a word. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? And then until I realized, you can use blitzkrieg as the word. And I'm like, pfft. Then the next thing you know, like it wrote itself. Of course, the problem is then you didn't give any citations. Because I know this shit. You know, we just pull random books and not pull anything off of them. All right, we're going to go really light on this and specifically want to get the corners. Well, maybe not so light. I can't even see what I'm doing. Now, this is not the same color I airbrushed in, but it is a very similar color. This is the Vallejo equivalent of it. It's going to look so sweet. Every second and fourth of the month, you release a chapter of a novella you're working on. Oh, so it's self-induced. Hey, you know, there's obviously people that enjoy that. You're not alone. Like, I rarely read, but I enjoy reading. The problem is I can't read if there's like distractions and stuff. Like I couldn't read like at an airport. I just end up getting annoyed. It's gonna look fucking amazing. That's the goal here. The goal is here to have this turn out so well that I can't wait to do another vehicle. It doesn't have to be a military vehicle or a militarized vehicle. You know, but I learned a lot of stuff. I learned a lot of skills and had to replicate them a lot, building DBA armies. And then I brought those skills when I did World War II. And then all the tank skills that I learned, I can bring them to this. All the tank weathering skills. So it's like, this is just mindless. It's iron, but still not. Now we painted this black, so we need to dry brush some of this. Let's hold this down so we're not putting too much pressure on it. Oh, that breaks off. We have to put another one. It's not a big deal. Now, one thing, when you dry brush over a decal, sometimes you can see the edge of the decal. When you clear coat it, like it disappears. Or at least when I've done it, it's disappeared. Sometimes it's really tough to write, but I'm always really happy after I'm finished. The first chapter of your novella is being published in Kaiju Ramen magazine in September. I thought about submitting articles for, what was the name of that magazine? War Games, Soldiers, and Strategy. I love that magazine. And they actually pay okay. I looked at the payment and I'm like, that's actually pretty decent payment. However, they have the right to modify anything you put on there. So that's just yeah, I'm not going to do that. And I don't like to write, but fuck, that looks good. And we're not done yet. But see, that tied it all together. So it's all, part of a unit. Oh my gosh. Where is... Let's get the scissors. Let's get the scissors. And I hate bringing it up to the thing because it just doesn't look right. Even here, it doesn't look right. There's too much kickback. It's too much light kickback. And the problem is exposure. There we go. Exposure is the problem. And we haven't done the drippings yet. But look at this toy. You think that clause about modifying things is a standard thing to clear up typos and remove anything that could cause issues? I don't know. I just don't want to write bad enough. I don't know. I don't know anything about writing and submitting articles and stuff like that, you know. But they pay a fair amount. I mean, you know, if you write an article and publish it, they give you like, you know, I want to say it's like 30 euros or something like that. Man, it's pretty fucking decent, you know. I don't like explaining anything that I do. I just don't want to have to write it down. Yeah, the roof's looking freaking great, man. And just so you know, so okay, let's ask a Brit, since there's a Brit here. Are these guys part of a sect of cruel Britannia? I mean, Australia is Britannia. I mean, you know, you'll rue the day needs to be on the poster for that car. I say we let you know who make the poster, and let's see what they come up with. Fuck it, let's do it right now. Because I personally can't wait. Okay, here we go. Oh, I already have a picture. All right, here we go. I love doing this. So running another village out of water. It's full of communists. Communists aren't people. That way they actually don't need to drink water. Okay, let's go to Gaslands. Yeah, here. Well, sometimes it doesn't like the... It's unpinned, new. Sometimes it just doesn't want to share, rename project. No. No. Well, I hope it puts it in the right place. We will go to photos. Here. And I don't like speak to type. But the speak to type on chat, like, never makes a mistake. It's like amazing. It's amazing. Are there Canadians too? Nah, America gets the Canadians. They talk like us most of the time. They don't drive. They're not right-hand drive people. Right-hand drivers unite. Okay. I need you to make a poster for a Gaslands vehicle. Here is a picture of it. It is called the Iron Roo. Sorry, I just ran. Look, it even spelled Iron Roo correctly. Well, it gave me that name, so somehow it knows about it. That's all I'm going to do. Okay? Let's see what it comes up with. It's already creating an image. Let's see what it comes up with. Oh, you hear that? It's communists dying of thirst. It's a communist village. I don't use it that much. And I don't use it to make fake videos. Sketching it out. I was going to make an encounter. So originally, this is how it worked. I went to the place. Oh, we have something. I'm not going to look at it yet. I went to the place and I saw that they had this vehicle. And I know that it's a fire support Australian vehicle. And I'm like, all right, I guess I could do Australian. What am I going to do with that? I'm like, realized that when I went through the decals, I had those kangaroo decals. I'm like, shit. All right, so we'll do counter scheme, right? Because I had a count. And then I started realizing I don't want to just do counter, however, because the counter scheme kind of has a pattern. It's basically like a focal point. It's almost like a prism. So like a focal point here, and it spreads out. And I'm like, with that and the kangaroo, it's going to be too much noise. So I'm like, all right, there's got to be another paint scheme. And then I went and did Canadian tanks, and bam, the Sentinel came up. And the Sentinel is in this paint scheme. And I'm like, Yep, that's it. That's the one. You know, that's the one. Let's see what it came up with. But you know, it's not. It doesn't do anything. Okay, so how we got here? Let's go ahead and do it. This is, I mean, this is freaking great for this game. It is just amazing. So let's take a look at what this thing is. Okay. Hop in. Hold on. Iron Roo. Fast, tough, Australian. That's how we roll. Now, it created some smorgasbord of a symbol up here that looks like a headless kangaroo. Gaslands. No rules, just road rage. I put that in the corner. Okay. Built like a tank, hits like a kangaroo, armor up, speedy, heavy hitter, nitro boost, Australian made. Well, it doesn't have nitro boost. Could it have nitro boost? I guess I could have given it nitro boost. I guess I could have given it nitro boost. But that's only one blast. Oh, maybe I'll redesign it and give it nitro boost. You know? I mean, this is fucking killer. You know? This is fucking killer. Hop in, hold on. Well, I don't like AI. It steals other people's ideas for drawing. Yeah, it stole mine. But I let it. Whatever, just don't take credit for stuff. Just don't say, hey, I drew this. You know? All right, it's drippings 30. Oh, we got this little tarp. Now this is the tarp that's the top of a what are those dudes called? The Dune dudes? No. The quad tractor. Those cute little quad tractors. So that's what this is. So this is like going to be like a little pop-up tent they can like, you know, have brew up with, you know. And I think I want it to be none of the colors that I've used. I don't want all the drab. I want it to be a little bit more colorful than that. Maybe something like what's this Russian? Is this Russian uniform? No, that's a different solid drab. What's this? This would probably work. What's this? Gray green? Can't tell what. Green gray. Then while wood this is drying, we'll do drippings. That's why you have to like overlap shit. You know, gotta hop around just so you can keep moving. Oh, look at this. I unscrewed it and the thing came off. That's happened a few times. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk away from this thing. This has a little piece of glue down here. Yep, we'll put it over there. And we're going to get some black. Make sure we don't have any paint on us. Maybe a little darker. Could almost make this like a Union Jack or something like that. You know, like it's covered, it's under a frame, but that's a lot of work. For some reason, all my criminals and from all these countries are very patriotic. Hey, I like flags. But I have quite a. Speaking of, well, I was thinking about it. I don't think I was speaking of it. The dragster that I picked up. You could. I've got probably 4 or 5 dragsters. I just don't see how they're viable at all. But that doesn't matter. We'll still. I got one that's a Winston. It's got to be like, you know, the flying cancer stick or something. Wonder if that gets banned. Ah, it's promoting cigarettes. No, it's not. Let's not use white. Let's use pale sand. Let's use pale sand. Let's do this. Canadians would all be like lumberjacks. Those Canadians would be lumberjacks. Like this galoot, that could be a Canadian. Galoot freaking sounds like Canadians. You know, galoot or Minnesotans guys. You know, there's some coffee shop called what was that thing I said one time? What's that saying? Said you're in cahoots with somebody. I said that sounds like some coffee shop in Minnesota. And sure enough, if you look up whatever the hell I just said, there's a coffee shop called that in Minneapolis. In cahoots. Yeah. This is going to be severely sun parched. I'm going to have to go in here with a more detailed brush. Your photo back, is it like a photo, it's like a set photograph backdrop? I was gonna paint several other ones, but man, with this chat thing, I guess I could just, I don't know, I haven't spent a lot of effort with it. Although I do like painting those little backgrounds. They take like 10 minutes, but not every one I've done have I been happy with. So, it's not a sure thing. There we go. Yeah, I bet it could do it, but you know, I don't like to do it. And it's not because it upsets people online. The fact that it upsets people online makes me want to do it more. So those people can grow a pair, have to change their panties out. Like I don't want the government fucking spying on me using AI and shit like that, but I don't mind using AI for, ideas for this. Mid brown, light tone, soft tone. I didn't ask them to create it either. Shit, I forgot which one was which. If I mix it up, I'll know which one it is. Okay, that's mid brown. That's soft tone. This is light tone. Yep. Light tone is the most orange one. All right. You got me looking at number decals. I don't really need numbers on my vehicles because mine's not really a race. I could see why you'd want them on yours. You know. I think this is where the fuel is back here. And because it already has a black wash over every nook and cranny, if this gets applied kind of thin, it's not a problem because you've got the black underneath it to brighten it up. All right. There's a hatch here. Where there's hinges, there's rust. to paint the little shovel in there. No big deal. Not as good a painter as you, but the decals make my cars look better. As long as you're happy with how you're doing it, you know. I probably have more experience. I don't know. I'll never be a better writer than you. I guarantee. I write good emails, though. I mean, I write good work email related crap, you know. There's people at work that are just don't write good emails. They'll leave a lot of unclarity. Well, I didn't say that right. Can't speak either. It's probably really thin metal. So, rust real easy. In my world, there's a lot of acid rain. And I don't really like my stuff looking that beat up. You know, it's like, just think of it. This is what it looked like before its first race. The first race could be the last. And it's not about who's a better painter. It's about, do you like the style you're doing stuff in? Because there's some folks that are really good painters, in my opinion. But I just don't like the style they do their stuff in. It doesn't matter. You know, I don't go tell them, hey, that's great, but your style sucks. I don't ever make comments like that. If I really don't like something, I just keep it to myself. Because it may be what the guy that created it likes. That's who you got to make happy. The person that created it, so they can create more. All right. Do we have anything over the Rue? No. All right. So, sorry, Rue. This color scheme is like perfect for a Saladin armored car, which is a beautiful looking armored car. At what point does a code name become redundant? Well, I just read that in Sierra Leone, some rebels launched Operation No Living Ting, where the plan was to leave no living ting. Sierra Leone. Was that the... No, that's Liberia. The guy that has the generic name. Charles Johnson or whatever his name is, right? He's a Johnson. So, here's one thing I wouldn't mind the third edition of these rules having. Foot troops. Foot troops. You know, not that I want to play with a bunch of infantry, but if you've got somebody that like carries, you know, like if I bring my little imaginations scenario, you know, I was going to have a little ice cream truck for my little African kids. I got them in 20 millimeter. I don't know who makes them, but they don't make them anymore. And they're all going to have like jerseys and stuff like that, and they're all going to be, you know, they're going to be called the serial killers. So one of them was like Fruit Loop, one's Cocoa Pop, you know, Cocoa Puffs or whatever, you know. They're all going to have names of a cereal. And then of course there are those, you know, they're child soldiers that just go out and, you know, commit atrocities. Well, I mean, that would work for this game, right? Well, in this game, everybody commits atrocities. But not if they can't dismount. Then you don't have figures for them, you know? Who's the guys that made that? They're really cool figures. And they look like kids, you know? You gotta go. I got sweaty from messing with this photo backdrop thing in the garage. Need a shower before I sit back down. Yeah, I wouldn't do. My garage wasn't too hot today, but that's why it took me so long to finish the Kinderkampfwagen, because I don't want to be in the garage, especially after I've been outside all day on a work day. Like today, I didn't step out. Well, I did step out of the house because I helped the wife bring in some groceries. But yeah, it was like feels like 110. You know. Okay, here we go. Here's my lesson today. I'm missing the truck driver with a red arm by driving with a tobacco in his mouth and before road to hell. Yeah, I need to make a driver. One of my pet peeves, and I don't care if you do this. Tough, you shouldn't do it. Are people that drive with their arms sticking out of their car, and I don't mean just like up here on the windowsill. I mean like, dragging out the door like an orangutan. And it's always rednecks. Seems like it's always rednecks. So I wanted to get some redneck guys with that, you know. Fuck, this looks great. Well, I'm doing World War II-ish type stuff, right? Should make everybody happy, you know. World War II-ish. Haven't spent a lot of time on the figures. They're just not very many figures out there that I like, other than the ones that are made by Cobblestone. The Implements of Carnage. I think that's Cobblestone stuff. His stuff is great. I like his style that it's done in. I had some figures made by this guy used to be one of our vendors at the convention, and then he passed away last year. And his company is I'm sure it's I don't blame him. It's just his family's not gonna continue it. They don't have he's probably doing it because it was like what he liked to do. It's like if the day I die, nobody's gonna continue painting my things. It's it's just one of those things. Therapy for me, but not for thee. I just don't see that many figures that I care for, and the ones that I like are they're kind of cost prohibitive. They're still cheaper than buying the 1/64th sets. They make a bunch of 1/64th sets and are already pre-painted, all pre-painted poorly. But they're not cheap. There's like a set like $17 for like 4 or 5 guys. Like that. Not looking forward to that. And I don't really want to do 1/64th scale figures. I want them in 1/72nd. Because not all the vehicles are 1/64th anyways. There are a variety of different scales. We're almost done with this. So we'll allow the Australians in cruel Britannia? Like I said, a sect of them, you know? I'm amazed. And a lot of it just has like, you have this, you can't help it to have some kind of an idea of, you think how it's going to turn out. You're like, well, maybe this, maybe that. And it just blows away all expectations that you had. And this is literally made out of crap. You know? Crap that I had laying around. All right, we have a shovel to do here. I don't care if the shovel were painted in camouflage. Not on my watch. It's an opportunity to give it a little bit of detail. I take it. I forget where the hell you're from, Javier. But I am going to have a Spanish car. It's probably going to be a gilipollas. Probably. I picked up a Cupra, which is actually a really fast car. Like, I guess it'll have to be a performance car. It looks like a Civic or something like that, but I don't think calling it zippy is appropriate. It's almost like Porsche speeds. So we'll make it a performance vehicle. I don't like those Vallejo, the new Vallejo bottles. They're like a cheap water bottle. Looks like it's gonna just break on you. Your white left, I do. Let's use this one. Yeah, first thing I do when I come home from work, shower. I don't want any of that stuff in the house. Does it look like it needs anything else? Well, it's funny because it did not get traditional weathering. It got like, I don't know that it really even got weathering. Because the desert I use like pale sand and stuff like that, but I don't think I need to lighten anything up. I'm not going to write iron roux on it. I thought about writing it, but it doesn't need it. It's got enough, there's enough noise on this thing as it is. All right, well, this thing is almost ready for a clear coat. Let's, yep, that is the clear black. Just stand out a little bit more. Oh, you know where it doesn't have any rust? On the iron stuff. Well, yeah, it does. It just doesn't have a ton of it. We need to go a little thicker on the turret ring. That's going to be a collection point of oxidation. I don't think I'm gonna do any other weathering to it. It's in desert colors. It came off the desert. Real happy with that. Real happy with that. Okay. We'll let that dry a little bit before we go and airbrush it and clear coat it. The finish on this metal is just gorgeous. I have no idea who the heck makes this, but it is, the quality of this metal casting is just so smooth. It's really pretty amazing. All right, so we've got this track guy back here. We can remove these. Well, we'll leave them on there for now, so we can visualize what this thing looks like. It goes like this. That piece is plastic. That's why it's still red. It's touching the track. I don't care. I'm going to leave it that way. I might try to put a little bit of a spacing on it, but it doesn't bother me that much. It'll definitely make it sturdy. I'm not putting the wrecker part of it on it. Let's move this out of the way. And look at the sticky note for the big galoot. Now, if you guys remember, if you were here when I was doing the Twinkie thing, I ended up, this was the thing that was going to be on the roof of the Twinkie truck. And it was something that broke off the ram. And I decided not to put it. I think we can put it here now. And that way, I'll have to repaint it so it's the color that it's supposed to be. That way you got 2 lights here and 2 more in the middle. Now we just need something to cover this up. So I've got a set of horns here. And again, we're not going to have the complete visual because it's going to be in this primer. It's going to be, you know, and dissimilar colors. I was originally thinking of putting something like this here to cover it up. But better than the spikes, these lights. Because it can use more lights than just that little thing. And it does have a ram, doesn't it? It does. So let's go ahead and grab the rams. Let's play the ram game. Let's put that back. We're not going to use that on this build. Nope, way too big. Also way too big. I definitely want to have headlights. Too pokey. I got a narrow in here. What are my narrow options? Here's one that's narrow. That's narrow. Probably won't like that one. Let's pull that piece out. That might be something we can use for this. That's the one I was thinking of. Probably not going to be this, but let me look at it. I don't like it. Okay. Don't like this either. I want to like get it down here somewhere. Nearsighted. Eyes are too. What's that called when people have their eyes are too close? Gotta be, and there's gotta be a name for that. I don't know what it is. I don't like any of these. I don't like none of them. How believe it or not, this actually vertical might not be bad. Let's remove this. It's the tweezers. So why couldn't we just do this vertically? We have to fill that space in unless, how many of these do I have? I think I have several. I had a second one I used already. What if we put this vertically? Here. And then we chop this off. It's about the same distance all the way across. Let's put these away. We'll keep the horns here. Might keep that for something. Let's put this away. Bring the cutting board back out. This is super brittle. Okay, and we can sand the rest. Yeah, it doesn't look half bad. I think this works for now. I think that works for now as the ram. I've got to build this thing up because we got to put a tank turret back up here. And we got to put the tank turret up. Measuring. No, we're not doing inches. Inches is stupid for this. A centimeter high. You need to build a box that's about a centimeter high. I sure would like to do something I could use weld cement with, but that's not going to happen. I could build it out of card, or I could build it out of wood. All right, I'm gonna go to a little Let me go to the little boy's room. I'll be right back. Back from Connecticut / Maine with grandbabies. Maine, went to go visit the Maniacs. That's who lives in Maine, right? Maniacs? Isn't that what they call them? I bet it's hot up there too. I don't like going places that get snow when it's not snowing. Of course, you probably don't want to go to Maine when it's snowing because you can't get in and out. I think we need a vacuum cleaner. Well, I just got done with my first tank build. Unintentionally. Where are my other ones? It is significantly smaller than the other ones. The tiger should be around here somewhere. Should be and is are two different things, though. And then a panther, of course, is huge. But even, let's grab a Panzer III. Nobody has a Panzer III, but... Okay, it's not that small. It's not that small. It's an M113, but it's an M113 from Hot Wheels, so it's not 1/72nd scale. It's who knows what scale. But the Tiger's 1/87th, and the Panther's a full 1/72nd scale one, whenever we get around to that. The Thomas Dambo trolls. Your biggest problem was mosquitoes and ticks. Yeah, those places that don't get the mosquito weather year round, they're like, that's what I heard, like Alaska's like horrible about mosquitoes. Well, they're not bad in December, I can tell you that much. They must like daylight. So whatever we put on here turreted, we definitely have to build this up, and we need to close this up. So when I built this guy, I built a fake platform to it, and I did it with wood, and I think it turned out pretty good. So I think I'm going to have to take a lesson from that playbook and do something similar. The twin turreted terrapin. So this little box is made of wood, And it was for the same reason. I wanted to put these turrets to be able to clear all the way across the back. It's actually a really big truck. Physically. So I think I'm going to do the same sort of thing. Except there might be an easy way out. And the hard part is making the box and then balancing it on the edge of this for it to be sturdy enough. I can do it, but it's going to take a whole lot of effort. What if I put a platform on this? Okay. What if I put just a wooden platform? It's almost the right size. Oh, this is like the ones that come in a little craft kit. Oh, and they're all going to be almost the right size. All right. Let me take one of these and cut it, because we're just experimenting. I'll probably make it out of plastic. Honestly, something like this would be just fine. This material right here. And then on top of that, remember, you got to do like a Sherman or something. It's got no bottom. What if I use a bottle cap? I'll be damned if the bottom of this isn't the exact same size. Well, you're certainly going to be able to shoot all the way around it. I'm not going to say I dislike that. It's certainly better than making a big box that's like questionably armored. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a platform for this. Let's get, I just cleared all this and now it's all messy again. Story of my life. See if we can find something that has a true square corner. I think this one's true and square. We'll make it a little bit bigger. How wide is this metrically? Works better when you use the metric side. 30 millimeters. All right. So I went like 31. Perfect. Do the same thing over here. See how I did? Okay, it's a little bit wider. I'm okay with that. Now it's a little bigger, and I think that that's okay because instead of just making a plate that fits inside here, I'll get one that covers the whole damn thing. And I can make that out of card, or, you know, not really card, but plastic card. Or in my case, gift card. Or key card. Yeah, if your hotel prices go up, it's me. I don't return the cards. I could reuse them. I wish they weren't so slick. Man, if they worked with the whatchamacallit cement, I'd be in heaven. Now let's put this back because I'm pretty sure I gotta have it flush on that side. Now, how tall is this? Not in inches, damn it. You know, I like using whole numbers. 13. 13 millimeters. And I wouldn't mind having a little T-square, but man, it'd have to be small. I haven't found one small enough. The missus brought your son the new $300 Warhammer 40K set for his birthday Father's Day. I helped him paint his orcs. Do most people that play that stick to, you know, the canon, or do they're like, this rule doesn't make sense. I'm not going to play in a tournament anyway, so we just play it like this. I don't, you know. I like their castings. I mean, it's not like they do a shit job or anything. They're so expensive because, you know, they got to pay for, well, that's worse. They got to pay for the, this might actually be better. Let's see. So your wife is an enabler. Okay. Just checking. It's a little too long. That's okay. Let's cut this. See, I can't see what I'm doing there. I can't see what I'm doing. So I think what I'm going to do is the only Games Workshop game that I've played like that is what's it called? Battle Masters. You know, that has those fantasy elements to it. I think I can do this now that I can see that. Yeah. They're in the 11th edition. Oh, that would annoy the hell out of me. But I guess if it's new people each time. wonder what the. I wonder how many people. If there's somebody who's drank the Kool-Aid every time. All right, I'll rebuy everything. To be honest with you, I don't really care if they redid the rules. Like I'd buy them. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't want them to render my figures that I spent all the time painting obsolete. I mean, that's the real, you can't get that back, She is an enabler. She still gives me the eye when I look at die-cast cars. Cheapest hobby ever, man. Cheapest hobby ever. The die-cast car stuff. They're almost too cheap. Yes, there is such a thing. Okay, this one's straight on. This one's got a little bit of a overhang. I think that's spot on. I think that's spot on. Well, we can do a couple things already. I can go ahead and remove this stickum. You just person you live with just has to put up with you. Like my wife said she wouldn't want to be around somebody like, oh, can't do anything on Sunday because, it's NFL or whatever. Don't have to worry about that with me. Where's the inside of this? It's still in the little container? I bet it is. Yep. Yeah, what else? Anything else in there? No. The winders, it's already in black, perfect. The winders are here. And it's got winder wipers. And that just sits in there like that. Okay. He actually plays tournaments. I wouldn't want to play with the other. I've seen people that play Warhammer. I don't want to play games with them. Sorry. Guys are too weirds. Not everybody. I'm sure there's probably some normal people, but I don't want to play games with weird people. People that don't bathe, shit like that. Like, come on, man. I hate that this is red. It's running interference. Okay, I'm going to cut this flush. Warhammer is arguably certainly one of the most mainstream expensive miniatures to get into. And people don't paint them. And the people that paint the Warhammer stuff, the game might be bull crap, but the people that paint are not bull crap. They know how to paint. It's just, I think I'm gonna make an executive decision. I love making executive decisions. So I think the executive decision I'm gonna make is I'm going to remove this part right here. That'll allow me to push this back a little bit, and then we can get away from that. I don't think this serves any purpose. Otherwise, we are going to be sitting in a situation where it doesn't look like it can turn, which doesn't really bother me that much, but if we could just scooch this back a little bit, let's snip this off. Where are these heavy-duty sons of bitches? Heavy-duty sons of bitches, okay. How much of this do we need to take off? This is a beautiful one. I mean, this metal is beautiful. It's like silverware. We're gonna need to remove the whole bloody thing. All right. Found a Gaslands community. I have given him the stuff. Fingers crossed. It's a better game. It's a great game. It's a hell of a lot cheaper. Well, you should have done that before you spent $200 on them. You know how many cars you could have gotten for that? You weren't here this morning, but I got a lot of cars to do. But if you average all the money I've spent on Gaslands, I've probably spent for every vehicle that I painted, I spent maybe $3. So if you take 3 times the number of vehicles that I have, that's about how much I've spent on it. And I got hundreds left to do. So it's pretty fucking cheap. It's pretty cheap. What's to keep me from just cutting it on the other side of that thing? That little, I got like that little bendy thing. I could grab it and bend it. I better be careful. I'm gonna. Check out the Bob Simple. It's ugly looking, man. God, it's ugly. I painted this one based on the Sentinel, though. That's in the Australian Museum. Yeah, if you and I welded our own tank, the Simple, we'd make a better looking tank. The Simple is uglier than a Tesla truck. I hope this was the right call. We'll find out shortly. What happened if we pulled all this off? We'd still be all right. Okay. Just take the whole thing off. That looks fine. Man, this plastic is hard. It wasn't a success because the Japanese didn't invade, right? That was that thing that was they were creating in case the Japanese invaded. Mrs. is calling you to dinner. Ah, you don't need to eat. You should starve. Show her who's boss. All right, let's see how we did here. Now we can scooch this back a little bit. And scooch this one back. And now we have some clarence. Okay, let's fire up the hot glue gun. Where is she? So I'm gonna go out there. I might as well prime this thing too. Gonna have to buy some of this stuff pretty soon. Got my money's worth out of this thing, that's for sure. Alright. Do any of these have different patterns on the side? These all seem to be the same. Man, it's like the right diameter too. Talk about not even having a... Yeah, we don't need another thing with a wrecking ball. Another heavy truck with a wrecking ball? Come on, man. I already have two. I think we can put a little bit here. Thought we could. Oh, it's on low. I don't know why it's on low. Let's leave it on low. Oh, get away. Just kind of hold it in place a little bit. Something ain't touching. Okay. Wish it didn't have these little stringy bits. That's about the only improvement I would have liked to see. Okay. Now that's going to go in there. Just peace of mind gluing this together with this. And then this is going to attach about like so. Ah, don't put your finger there. It's Dumas. Just remelt it. Now, I don't think I'm going to use hot glue for this. Okay, that's a hell of a lot better than making it out of wood trying to balance on the edge. All right, let's take a fresh one of these. Or was this one that we were going to use? Does it make a difference? Not really. Recycle. I'm not going to recycle it. I'm going to use it for something else. Wait, that is recycling. Is it? Leave that plugged in. But let's move this little guy out of the way. I'd hate for something to happen to it before I even took pictures of it. Let's go get the Sherman. I guess it could be Canadian. I guess it could be Canadian because it's a Firefly turret. I mean, thought I had left that out. I guess I did not. No, I'm not Russian. It's this one, right? Yep. I took the one where I removed the turret from it, so can I find that one? Not that one. I'll just remove it. Now, they don't have a floor. The turrets don't have a floor. I'm not going to remove this turret because I already have one removed. Let's look at the instructions for the Firefly. Plastic Soldier Company, 1/72nd scale, Sherman M4A4 instructions. Okay, why did you exit out of there? I didn't tell you to do that. M4A2 set has multiple floors. And we're not going to have a cupola. That's fine. I could make another hatch. We do have a hatch for this one here. And we do have a choice of mantlet, but nothing behind it. So I'm not sure that's going to work 100% either. I just don't see any harm in I just don't see any harm in hot glue gunning this thing on top. Should I could even do it like this. And then it's got a better purchase on it. Because it don't have a big surface area like that. Be able to glue it on the front. What's the back happen? There's just all kinds of missing shit. Nah, we better do it like this. We better do it like this. Okay. Let's see if we can get away with this. And we could use this with epoxy if we really need to get it down where it needs to be. So we have lots of turrets, we just don't have a hash. That's okay. I can just make it flush. I'm not worried about that. Could probably use one of those mantlets, and I got lots of tubing that would fit on there nicely. Just wait for this to cool down a little bit. This is like no cost. I already have this turret. Getting hot in here. Don't do that with epoxy, folks. You'd have one hell of a mess. I don't know if this is going to work look-wise. feel like this needs to have a stubby barrel. Not that stubby. Let's see what this looks like before we commit and start epoxying shit down. Have to take a photograph and just say, hey, paint it all black, and just see what it looks like. I think it looks okay. I think it looks all right. And I think I am going to make it Canadian. I think I am going to make it Canadian. All right, folks, this is where we're going to stop. We're not going to be able to get anything else done on this, but I might shorten the barrel a little bit. I might use a smaller barrel, a not as long barrel. I think the circumference is just fine. That diameter is just fine. Okay, folks, thanks for